Now let's get to a free winning pick from Joe Duffy's Picks today, and we'll also take a look at one of the key metrics we like to take a peek at, and that is the so-called sweat barometer in college basketball. Joe Duffy's Picks, though, continues to roll. That would be an understatement. 14-4, 4 straight winning days. 3 winning picks for tonight, 2 in college and 1 in the NBA, and it's all at offshoreinsiders.com. Now, your free winning pick, by the way, yeah, we could have more picks once all NBA lines are released, and in fact, they're being released as we speak. In fact, the only game that has no widely available line is going to be our free pick, but at least 3 winners for tonight. Take the road team in a battle of 2 high-scoring teams. The home team is fat and happy off of a win, and the road team recently has been scoring well as 254 and 153. And, well, we are giving a strong hint as to what our pick is, but we think Cleveland very undervalued according to several other metrics, and we expect them to be a pretty good bet for the foreseeable future. So the free winning pick is to go with Cleveland plus the 2 to Oklahoma City. Now, as we said, there's not really a widely available line at the time of release, waiting on some injury information and whatnot, but it does look like it should be Cleveland by about +2. That is your free pick, and it is not one of the premium picks, although, as we said, once our database recalibrates, it could wind up being a free pick, but it's not one of the, could wind up being a premium pick, I should say, but it is not one of the 3 premium picks at press time. All right, now let's take a look at the sweat barometer. Again, the sweat barometer, also called the margin of cover, is how much a team does or does not cover by. If you do like our podcast, our free picks, please like, give us a heart if you are watching the rebroadcast over on Periscope. Share, comment, embed, retweet. And offshoreinsiders.com is a place to go for thoroughly vetted sports books and handicappers. Now, these have been the best spread teams according to the margin of cover. Margin of cover is how much a team does cover by, similar to the points per game margin, but relative to the point spread. Nebraska and Loyola Chicago have each covered by an average of 5.2 points per game. Louisiana Lafayette, 4.9. Cal Santa Barbara and Auburn at 4.8. Virginia at 4.6, and NC Greensboro at +4.4. They have been the best ATS teams. Now, how to use that? Most of our systems do say there is a regression to the mean. Again, every sport except for college football. College football seems to be the number one, well, is the number one momentum sport. No, seems to be about it, and that we think that makes sense. We've explained it in some other videos and podcasts and articles and whatnot. But essentially, when there's a big gap in the margin of cover, you actually go with the worst team. But again, we take that we report, you decide approach. Some people like the margin of cover and saying that at least short term you want to ride these teams. If they've been bad margin of cover, ride them until the odds makers catch up. So we're taking more of a we report, you decide approach. 2 West Coast teams, California and Santa Clara, tied as the worst sweat barometer teams, or maybe more accurately, the best teams to fade, as they are both -5.4 margin of cover this year. Again, they're different terms. They mean the same thing. There is no difference between the sweat barometer and the margin of cover. Eastern Kentucky, -5.1. Connecticut, -4.7. Yale, -4.3. And then Sanford is -4.2. And Minnesota and Wisconsin, both at -4. So they would be the best teams to fade, bet against, at least to date. And the teams we gave you at the top were the best teams to bet on, at least season to date. But again, we do, a lot of handicappers will debate how to most effectively use that. But again, we just like to give out that information. And we're going to try on a daily basis to give you some of the metrics and the standings season to date on what some of those metrics are. And again, you want the best handicappers? offshoreinsiders.com. You want the most thoroughly vetted and tested sports books? offshoreinsiders.com.